Good day everyone. Today we'll be discussing the last topic for your final exam, which is the endocrine system. So what are the functions of the endocrine system? First, it is the major control and communication system. It controls body fluid, compositions and volume, nutrient levels, growth and development, reproduction, and physiological cycles or the biological clock. So what is the difference between the nervous and the endocrine control? So both are capable of responding to stimuli, but the nervous system responds rapidly and precisely, while the endocrine system responds more slowly and more diffusely. So these two systems work in parallel but independently on each other, although there are some anatomic and functional overlap. What are the components of the endocrine system? We have the endocrine glands. They are the ductless glands where secretions directly go to the bloodstreams. We have the hormones. It is a chemical substance that's secreted by the endocrine glands. And we also have the target organs, target cells, or target tissues. It is where the receptors for the hormones secreted by the endocrine glands. So this is the picture of the different endocrine glands located in our body. So we have the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is a small part of the diencephalon, and it is located at the base of the brain. So it consists of 11 major nuclei, tracts, and nuclear areas. So that is the hypothalamus. So what are the functions of the hypothalamus? It controls numerous bodily functions. So it produces hormones. We have the posterior pituitary hormones and the hypophysiotropic hormones or the neurohormones. So under posterior pituitary hormones, we have the oxytocin and the vasopressin. While under hypophysiotropic hormones or the neurohormones, we have the corticotropin releasing hormones, thyrotropin releasing hormones, growth hormone or releasing hormones, growth hormone inhibiting hormones, luteinizing hormone releasing hormone, and prolactin inhibiting hormones. So we have the posterior pituitary hormones and the hypophysiotropic. Hypophysiotropic can be also called anterior pituitary hormones. So the pituitary gland or the hypophysis cerebri, it is a small ovoid organ attached to the inferior surface of the hypothalamus. There are two distinct parts. We have the neurohypophysis and the adenohypophysis. So the neurohypophysis arises from the neural ectoderm while the adenohypophysis arises from the oral ectoderm. So the neurohypophyses have three regions. We have the median, eminence, pituitary stalk, and the posterior lobe. The hair embodies deeply staining basophilic structures which are aggregated secretory granules of the pituitary gland, and the pituicytes, there are the stellate non-secretory cells used for support. So other cells in the neurohypophysis, we have the endothelial cells and blood cells. Neurohypophysis consists also of axons, pituicytes, and sinusoids. So the neurohypophysis is not a gland. While in the adenohypophysis, we have the anterior lobe or the pars distalis, pars tuberalis or pars infundibularis, and the intermediate lobe or the pars intermedia. So the anterior lobe comprises the 70% of the pituitary gland. The intermediate lobe is the thin and poorly developed region. It, it synthesizes the melanocyte stimulating hormones. So the parenchymal cells of the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, there are two general types. We have chromophils and chromophobes. So the chromophils, meron siyang acidophils and basophils. Acidophils are the alpha cells. Anong kulay niya? Reddish yellow yung cytoplasm and dense nucleus and distinct cells. Yung basophils, beta cells. So madali lang tandaan, acid, alpha, pares letter A, baso, beta, letter B pareho. So we have the classification of chromophils. Based on the hormones they secrete and in electron micrographs. We have five. First, we have somatotropes. They are acidophile, about 50%, secrete somatotropin or the growth hormones. Mammotropes or the lactotropes, acidophile. They secrete prolactin. Thyrotropes, they secrete thyrotropin or the TSH. corticotropes, they secrete ACTH, and the gonadotropes, they secrete LH and FSH. So we also have the pineal gland or the body epiphysis cerebri. It is a small gland attached to the third ventricle of the brain. So the gland is enveloped by a thin connective tissue capsule. So meron siyang connective tissue septa. It serves as passageway for blood vessels and nerve fibers, and the pinealocytes are the cells that fill the tubule of the pineal gland. So as you can see sa picture, nandiyan yung pineal. So meron din siyang interstitial cells, yun yung mga supporting cells. We have mast cells responsible for high histamine content ng pineal gland, and brain sand. It is the landmark used for locating the pineal gland in X-ray studies of the brain. So hormone produced by the pineal gland, we have the melatonin. So melatonin secretion is stimulated by darkness and inhibited by light. So it is synthesized by pinealocytes. So ang function ng hormone na to is not yet known, but it is thought to affect the circadian rhythm, sleep patterns, and sexual maturity. So ang mahalaga lang matandaan sa melatonin is stimulated by darkness and inhibited by light. So it exhibits diurnal variation, ibig sabihin, mas mataas siya sa gabi at mas mababa sa. So the thyroid gland is the largest endocrine gland, slightly bigger in women than in men. Tapos it is an unpaired gland with two lateral lobes of the right and left, and the two lobes are connected by a structure known as isthmus. So meron thyroid follicles. It is irregular spherical structures that fill each thyroid lobe. It composed of two cells. We have the follicular or the principal cells and the parafollicular cells. So yung follicular, it is the most predominant cell, the main cell that produce the thyroid hormones. While yung parafollicular cells are supporting cells lang that produce calcitonin. So later di-discuss natin kung ano yung calcitonin. So what are the hormones produced by the thyroid gland? So we have the calcitonin or the thyroid calcitonin, and syempre thyroid hormones, we have the T3 and T4. T3 is triiodothyronine and T4 is thyroxine. So the thyroid hormones regulate the metabolism of proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and some vitamins. So calcitonin naman is produced by the parafollicular cells. So ano ang main function ng calcitonin? It is used to lower the calcium levels by suppressing the activity of the osteoclast. So the parathyroid hormone naman is a yellowish-brown tiny ovoid bodies attached to the posterior surface of the lateral lobe of the thyroid gland. So they are paired glands, meron superior and inferior pairs. So adipose cells and follicles are present. Parathyroid. So what are the cells included in the parathyroid gland? We have the chip cells and oxyphyll cells. So yung chip cells, they are the principal cells. They are the main producers of the parathyroid hormone. Yung oxyphyll cells or the acidophil cells, they are bigger than the chip cells but with smaller nucleus. They are non-secretory at unknown pa yung function nila. So ano yung mga hormones na pinoproduce ng parathyroid gland? Siyempre, we have the parathyroid hormone. So the parathyroid hormone is the most important hormone or regulator of blood calcium levels. We have the adrenal and the suprarenal glands. So saan siya makikita? Sa superior ng kidneys. So meron siyang two layers. We have the adrenal medulla and the adrenal cortex. Adrenal medulla, inner. Adrenal cortex, outer. So yung adrenal cortex, meron pa siyang cortical layers. So we have the zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis. Ano po yung GOFMRI? Class, palatandaan nyo yan. Palatandaan lang yan. So G glomerulosa, O outer, fasciculata, M middle, R is reticularis, I inner. So the adrenal cortex comprises 80 to 90% of the gland. So it produces the steroid hormones. Ano yung three major classes of adrenocortical hormones na pinoproduce? We have the mineralocorticoids for aldosterone, glucocorticoids for cortisol and cortisone, and androgens or the dehydroepiandrosterone or the DHEA and the androstenedione. We have the zona glomerulosa. It's the outermost region. So the cells of this zone produce the mineralocorticoid or the aldosterone, which is important in increasing sodium reabsorption sa kidney. So yung fasciculata middle layer, the thickest layer. So siya yung nagpo-produce ng glucocorticoids, cortisol, and cortisone, which regulates the carbohydrates, lipids, and protein metabolism. Yung reticularis naman, innermost layer, the thinnest layer. So siya yung nagpo-produce ng DHA and corticosterone and cortisols. So it is considered the graveyard of the cells from the two other zones. So the adrenal medulla naman, 10 to 20% lang ng adrenal gland. So the cells na nasa adrenal medulla are the pheochromocytes and the chromaffin cells. They are called chromaffin cells. Bakit? They are treated with chromates. They are oxidized and turn brown. So ano na produce na hormones dito? We have the catecholamines. So nandito yung epinephrine and norepinephrine, or the adrenaline and noradrenaline, and the dopamines. So these hormones are responsible for the fight or flight response of the body. So the pancreas, it is also considered as heterocrine glands. Bakit? Pwede siyang maging exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Exocrine, it produces pancreatic enzymes by inner cells. Tapos ang endocrine gland naman is yung production niya ng hormones. Islet of Langerhans, or the pancreatic islet, comprises the endocrine portion of the pancreas. So each islet consists of 2,000 to 3,000 cells. So cells of islet of Langerhans, we have alpha, beta. So alpha, it secretes glucagon. Para sa yung glucagon, pampataas ng sugar. Ang beta cells naman, nagsisecrete ng insulin. Anong ginagawa nun? Ito yung nagpapadecrease ng blood glucose level sa katawan. Class, andaan nyo, ang beta cells na nagsisecrete ng insulin, ang insulin lang ang nagpapababa ng dugo, nagpapababa ng sugar or glucose sa dugo natin sa katawan. Madami pa kasing mga hormones na pwedeng magpataas or analyze na pwedeng magpataas ng sugar sa ating katawan. Pero insulin lang ang kaya magpababa ng blood glucose level natin sa katawan. So we also have delta cells. Anong sinisekret niya? Somatostatin. Somatostatin, it regulates the function of both insulin and glucagon. Lastly, we have the pancreatic polypeptide cells, or the PP cells, or the F cells. They are rare cells that are widely scattered in the islet. So, anong function niya? It has been shown to slow down the absorption of food in the intestine, but yung mismong exact function niya is not yet known.